welcome to the Great British Summer. It's finally here. After weeks, if not months, of just non-stop rain, we've finally got a little bit of decent weather. It's probably not going to last that long, but it's very welcome. It's very welcome indeed. So as you can tell, we're out again. I don't know why I keep saying we, I mean me, out in the Great Peak District National Park. 9 o'clock in the morning, roads are empty. It's been looking forward to a day like this all summer. So I'm very, very happy it's here. I'm Matt McFadden. This is the Peak District National Park, and this is a waffles episode of Classic Rides. So I know that some of you are going to go full mental in the comments because I've decided not to wear my jacket this morning. But here's the thing, I've decided that whilst I'm recording this, I'm not going to be going very fast. So in fact, I'm probably not even going to be doing over 20 miles an hour, so I think I'm perfectly fine, I think. So if you're a subscriber to the channel, you might notice that the folk tales videos haven't taken off or outlived anything with them. I have wanted to, I just haven't had a vast opportunity to do it. The weather's been so shocking this year that I've asked a few people, but there just hasn't been a decent enough spell of clear weather for me to travel somewhere and film an interview and then footage. So that's kind of been on hold really, because this summer's been surprisingly crap. And also I've had a lot of work to do, just my normal day job, because obviously this doesn't pay my bills. Which gets me onto a topic that I wanted to talk about for this video, which is channel sponsors and partners. Well, I don't have any channel sponsors. There's nobody that just gives me cash to make videos for them. But obviously you'll notice on the front of my videos, and pretty much every other motovlogger, whoever, if they can, you'll get those little partner logos flashed up at the beginning, and those are usually the only way that YouTubers can try and make some money from making these videos. And Matt, you say, why should we earn money for our hobby? Well, this is not a hobby. It'd be much easier and much more comfortable for me just to go on a ride and enjoy it like everybody else. But instead I strap all these cameras to the bike, and then I might spend a day or two editing to make a video. Now, in case you were interested, I might do, if you want me to do a whole video on my sort of experiences of starting a YouTube channel, just leave a comment and then below. If I get enough people with enough interest, I'm quite happily bore the crap out of everyone talking about how I got the channel started and the realities of doing it. But to get back to my point of channel partners, the reason we do that is because when you get onto the YouTube partnership program, yes, you can make some money via the ad revenue. And my sister sent me a message the other day actually that was quite funny, and she said that her son, my nephew, told her that YouTubers can make £2,000 per 10,000 views. Oh God, I wish that was true. I so wish that was true. I'd be rolling in it. I could just, oh. And do you know what? Google could pay that without breaking a sweat. It wouldn't actually bother Google whatsoever to give us that kind of money. But they won't. The reality is, it's a much more modest figure, and it's different for everyone, but it's about £1 per 1,000 views. So if you have a video that gets 10,000 views, which is good if you get that is pretty good, you will have made the grand sum of about 10 quid, which is not a lot. Which is why a lot of YouTubers, including me, try and get these brand deals, because the idea usually is that they give you something for free, like a bit of clothing or a bit of a device, a bit of equipment or something, and you have that and you talk about it, and then usually they'll give you some little code or a link. If you then decide, you as the viewer then decide that you want to buy that thing that they're talking about, the YouTuber will get a very small percentage of the revenue for that purchase, and that over time, if you get enough of them and you have a big enough channel, that can give you some money. You know, I think really it's only channels that have whopping great big subscriber bases that are actually making any real money. Most of us that have sort of more modest channels, you're not really making enough money to cover your expenses. So you have to, if you want to do this, you have to do it because like you love it, not because you're planning on getting rich. So that brings me on to talking about Sizzapp, who are a new channel partner, and it's something that I was thinking of buying for my bike anyway. So that fits in with my sort of ethics on channel partner. So I don't want to push anything on the channel that I don't think would be of genuine use to myself or other motorcyclists. So that's my promise to you. I'm never going to promote something that is just for money alone. And to prove it, since doing that e-bike review, and it wasn't the best bike review that's ever existed, I've had about 10 to 12 offers from other e-bike manufacturers to do reviews. Now those e-bikes are each worth between £1 to £2 grand, and the idea being that you can do whatever you want with the bike afterwards. So once you've done your review, like I did with the last one, I just sold the bike. It was worth to me about 900 quid. So given that I've had about 10, I probably could have sold all those bikes for about £1 grand. That's about 10 grand that I've said no to just for you guys. I often talk about products, you know, and channel partners, because I don't want to be too salesy in the videos. It's not what the channel's about. Usually I like, you know, for example, Roadskin, who give me quite a few items now to have, you know, I will just have it in the video, and if I'm wearing it, if I'm using it, it's because I think it's good. I'm not going to put my own safety at risk just for the sake of a few quid on a video. Probably if you watch a lot of channels, you will have heard of Sizzapp already. You know, Freddie Dobbs has done one on it, Nick from Moto UK has done one on it, Moto Revs, I think that's the name, he's done one on them. There's quite a few motorcyclists that have done reviews on it. So Sizzapp is a GPS tracker for your bike, so just on that point alone, it's 100% worth having for your bike. You know, in the unfortunate event that your bike gets half-inched, you know, in the immediate moments, because where your bike will probably get left somewhere whilst the thieves work out if your bike has a tracker on it or not, you should be able to find where your bike is and get it back. Which obviously, if you don't have a GPS tracker on your bike, that's a bit harder to do. And the great thing about Sizzapp on that front is, unlike a lot of GPS tracking systems, Sizzapp isn't a subscription-based product. So you just buy it once, and that's the price you pay. There's no recurring fees for this. So that again is something that I think is really good. So just on those 2 points alone, it's a GPS tracker and it's a one-off payment. That's a big thumbs up from me. Apart from being a GPS tracker, there's lots of other things that are quite useful, and definitely seal the deal for me as being this is actually a useful product to have on a bike. So for me, like right now, I haven't the foggiest idea where I am. I've started off on some roads that I knew, and I've taken a few turns left, right and wherever. No idea. I've never been here before, I don't know what it's called. Sizzapp will give me a map at the end of the day of a full route of everywhere I've been. I really like that, because I can find, you know, sometimes you'll drive past someone and you're like, that's incredible. By the time I get home, I can't remember the name of where it was. I don't remember how to get there. But now I can see where I've been, which is very good, very handy. I like that. When you get Sizzapp, it's all controlled with an app that's on your phone, and that's where you get all the data from. That's where you get the route maps and the share your ride things and stuff like that. And in addition with all that, the bike will send you notices. So if, for example, it detects a movement, like if someone's messing with the bike, you'll get a message to let you know. If someone disconnects the GPS, it has an internal battery, so it can still run on its own for a little while, completely disconnected. So if someone disconnects it, you'll get a notice to let you know that it's been disconnected. For me, because my partner Jen, she's not 100% sold on the bike yet, and I think going on a longer trip, she likes to know that I'm okay. So for example, when I did the NC500 trip, I did a Google Maps share thing where she literally could just follow me on a map, and I think as long as she sees that I'm moving, she knows I'm not dead. Sizzapp will do that also, so I can send her a link and she can follow me. She can see that the bike's moving and that I'm okay, and I think that's a really good feature for her and for me. A couples with that, it has a feature where you can send someone a notice if you've had a crash, which I feel like is really useful. Morning. So again, those are two aspects that are really good, because if say I'm somewhere in the back end of nowhere and I happen to come off the bike, Jen would get an alert from Sizzapp saying it's sensed a crash. She can check the GPS to see where I am, and I guess if she sees that the bike isn't moving, she's going to be able to ring for assistance for me if I can't myself. So you might be wondering, is it easy to put on your bike? Yes, it is. It's very easy. It's 2 wires. And ingeniously, I've never seen it on anything before, and I really don't know why not. The connectors that you connect onto your battery are open-ended terminals, so you don't even have to disconnect everything from your battery. You just have to loosen the terminals, slide the connector in, and tighten it back up again. It's really easy. Just to note, if you're not au fait with electrics, just make sure you connect the black wire first and then the red one, just to make sure you don't get any weird shorts or anything. And then you just have to find somewhere to put the little block. So the GPS unit itself is about that big. It's small, but not so much that you can just fit it absolutely anywhere. I struggled a little bit to find somewhere to put it on this. I've seen in some other people's videos that they put it under the side panels, but my feeling with that was, since the side panels on this bike particularly can just be pulled off with your fingers, it's not the most secure place to put a GPS tracker. Also in the instructions it says you have to have the tracker horizontal, so again that's not a great place to put it. So it doesn't look like it will fit, but actually it will fit on the rear mudguard, on the top of the rear mudguard, underneath the seat. So although this is a custom seat, it uses a standard Triumph seat base. So it will, at least for the T120, it will fit under the seat base, and then it's locked into place. You can't get at it without the bike keys. Which again, in those first few moments of when somebody nicks your bike, often if they can get to a GPS, they'll look for it and rip it off. At least with this, they'll need to somehow get the seat off first before removing it. So that gives you a little bit more time initially to possibly get your bike back. That's all right. I'm just going to wait for her to get a reasonable distance away before starting up again. She seemed like her horsey was perhaps a little bit unsure of the noise. I'll do it while the car's near it, so then... So if you're interested in a bit more information about Sizzapp, there is a link in the description below to the website. They'll give you a bit more info, and also on my website there is a slightly more a slightly more detailed review of the device, a written review on my website. If you decide to buy your bike a Sizzapp, which I think you should if you don't have any kind of tracking device on your bike already, there is a 10% off discount code in the description below, and that's also on my website if you have a look. And so that's as far as the sales pitch is going to go. I think it's a worthwhile thing to have on your bike if you don't have anything like that already, and if you don't like paying for monthly subscriptions, which I don't, then it's well worth giving it a look. Incidentally, it does lots of other things too. If you're really interested in it, it'll tell you your maximum speed, your maximum acceleration and braking. There's a whole bunch of stuff, which some people might find interesting. Me not so much, but I think it's just data that it collects anyway, so it's there if you want to see it. This is a see that on the GoPros. Very grumpy woman. She's a grumpy lady. Oh, I've never been down this road before. That's where that goes. That's interesting. I am going to go back the way that I've just been. Or should I go to the cafe? I think I should go to the cafe. Let's go to the cafe. If you're in or around Holmfirth and you want to check out a cool little cafe that's a little bit hidden, have a search for the oil drum cafe. I'm not sure. I'll put a ding thing on it to say what it's actually called. Ooh, you know what? I'll put it here.
Quite old-fashioned where I had sometimes played chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on, so we find that vintage.
I love coming to places like this. It's such a treat to see so many nice cars being well looked after, and I feel like it's such a dying skill, the ability to tinker with a proper car. And I know places like this are keeping it alive, and the fact they have a vintage themed cafe next to it that serve really nice food. It's just it's a great place to spend sort of a few hours, and you can get some nice food, have a look around the cars. And there's no admission fee. It's not like a pay to get in museum. All the cars that are here are being worked on in the garage, and they're all somebody's pet project, which I really like. And I think, given that we sort of seem to be in the end days of petrol and diesel powered engines, places like this are all the more precious, because it's going to be a way of life that people won't remember. And I think it's important that we do. Remember what it was like to have personal freedom, and motorcycles and cars, and they're not just a mode of transportation. You know, some of them can be a little bit silly, and that's the whole point, is that they're fun, and they are a bit silly, and it's not just a case of something to get you from A to B. It's a real hobby, a real passion for some people, for a lot of people, including me. Before I got my license, and I was a stalwart classic car guide. I used a 1976 Triumph Spitfire as my everyday car for about 4 years, and then before that I had a number of minis. And yeah, or just old cars are just fantastic. I mean, yeah, you can't beat them. And it's great to come with somewhere like this where get a bit of cake and a coffee as well. So, that is enough of my little coffee break. Up here. I've not been up here before. Let's do that. I always think sometimes with the Peak District that it's not very peaky. Like, you expect there to be like mountains and stuff, but it's not. It's just that the whole land area is quite high. I mean, really, they ought to call it the dips or something like that, because it's more about, it has big troughs. So if you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching all the way through. I'm Matt McFadden, that's the Peak District, and this has been Classic Rides.